Hello, everyone. My name is Jared Pixley. Welcome to another episode of Pixley for President. And this week, I decided to do something a little bit lighter. So I think one of the things that makes me a good candidate for president is that I've studied what goes on inside of the White House and learned to a certain degree how things work. When President George W. Bush took office, he was surprised at the end of his first month when he got a bill for the groceries that his family had eaten. He didn't know that the president pays for his family's food. Um, you know, that's something that I do know. I also know how many nuclear footballs there are. Um, we'll say President Bush's transition team, when he was taking office, interviewed a bunch of the previous administration and put together a book, The White House World, which is a very informative book about how the White House works. So, but in a previous video, I talked about the Presidential Records Act and the National Archives and Records Administration, NARA, and talked about how Trump does not understand or even like the Presidential Records Act, the PRA. In fact, actually, just recently, this week, it came out that he was telling his staffers to delete all their messages, even though the PRA says that they cannot. So, this week I want to talk about another minor detail, presidential mail. What happens when you send a letter to the White House? It's just another little thing that I've researched in my free time. So, during President Obama's term, the White House received about 65,000 physical letters a week. But most of those letters do not go straight to the White House. Instead, they're routed through the U.S. Postal Service Government Mails Annex in D.C., which happens to be nearby a Chick-fil-A. There it is tested by the Secret Service for chemicals and explosives. Anything that is deemed safe is then sent to another facility, the Office of Presidential Correspondence, located in the Eisenhower Building, where it is then read and sorted. Now, packages go through this process as well. There are hundreds of employees and volunteers there that read all the letters received. These readers sort the letters into different dispositions, such as taxes, Ukraine, healthcare, and on and on. There are hundreds of these dispositions. Some are marked sensitive and handed off to someone that specializes in correspondences. And any letter that indicates the writer is in imminent danger to themselves or others is sent to the crisis response team. There's also a kids team handling mail from children, a legal team if the letter is about actual cases going before court, and a greetings team that focuses on those special moments, such as graduations and weddings. Any threat to the president is turned over to the Secret Service for further investigation, and in the past has actually led to people being arrested. Any brownies sent to the president are thrown away. What a waste. As are any other food items and liquids. Testing these items for poisons or laxatives or anything else is just too expensive. It's cheaper just to buy a trash can. Anything not thrown away goes to the gifts team for sorting. I'm not sure what happens with those gifts, if they ever eventually reach the president or they just get dumped in a crate in some backroom warehouse. So the staff at the correspondence office have a variety of form letters to send back and reply. During the Clinton administration, there were about 6,000 prepared replies. During the Bush's administration, if the letter was from a child, the reply included a picture of the presidential family and their dog Bo. Now, both Presidents Obama and Biden had a policy where they would read 10 letters a day. These were to be representative of the most popular dispositions, so they could understand how the people felt about what was going on in the country. Staffers would label letters that they thought warranted going to the president with the word sample, and a higher up then picked 10 letters out of all the sample pile. They also prepared a report about how many of each disposition they received that day. Now that way the president has another measure of what the public cares about. Each morning, the staff secretary, who is above the correspondence office, gives the president a folder with the report and photocopies of the 10 letters. And just as a minor detail, during Obama's administration, it was specifically a purple folder. The real letters are all filed away, in accordance with the Presidential Records Act. Now, as president, I would continue that tradition. Now, the president works for the people, so as president, I would want to know what the people actually want, what the people cared about, how the people felt about what was going on. Let me just add here that any letters forwarded to the president are also vetted by the Secret Service. And this process can take up to 2 weeks from the receipt of the letter until it lands on the Resolute desk. Now, there was a famous letter that President Obama received where a woman wrote to him about her struggle with leukemia after losing her insurance. He actually showed up at her house to drive her to treatment. This helped push public opinion in favor of the Affordable Health Care Act. Now, not all letters that Obama received were responded to in such a way. In fact, he read 10 letters a day. He only responded to 5 to 10 letters a week. Not every letter needs a reply. But now, I have talked about this office handling physical mail going to the president, but it also does more than that. They also read the president's emails. The emails going to the president. Though I can find even less information about that than about the physical mail. During the Biden administration, the office created a Twitter account and showed some of the letters they received there. This account is now archived by NARA, and you can still go there and see those letters. So, I just thought this was a quick, interesting subject. At least I found it mildly interesting, understanding, how much is actually sent to the White House and what happens to it. And, once I'm on the inside, maybe I can find out what happens to all the gifts that are sent to the president. As I said, I would continue reading 10 letters a day, responding to the ones that need to. I just think that it would help, keep myself connected to the people that I am representing as the president. So, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, subscribe. All that does help. All my social medias are in the description below. You can follow me there. And have a wonderful day. See you again next week.